Hey everyone, Befron here, and today we're going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to teach you how to upload commander decks to Cardsphere so you can sell the cards you don't need. So basically the background here is a couple weeks ago you might have seen a video where I bought the Streets of New Capenna commander decks, and as I explained in that video, what I often do is I buy commander decks to precons, take a few of the cards out that I like, maybe 10 or 15 cards that I think are pretty neat from the new set, and then usually I end up selling the rest of the cards. So I'll take those 15, put them in other decks that I already have, and then kind of sell the rest of the cards. And that's the way I get most of the value out of these commander precons, right? Take the cards that you like, and then sell off the rest as singles or what have you. So Cardsphere I found is a really great way to do that, and I wanted to show you today how to quickly upload those commander decks to Cardsphere, right? So, you know, there's one option of literally manually typing in every card, all 100 cards in each of those 5 commander decks, so 500 cards into Cardsphere, typing them all in. That's a lot. I found an automatic way to do that a lot faster, and I wanted to share that with you in hopes that it could help you, sell off your singles from commander decks that you might get as precons in the future. So let's go ahead and jump in and get started. So what we have here is we're going to need 3 different tools to kind of do this process, right? One is Cardsphere, of course. Again, as I mentioned, Cardsphere is what I use to sell off a lot of these single cards. We're also going to need moxfield. This is where we're going to get the lists of those decks that we're going to be selling. And then we'll need some kind of text editor. So I like to use Sublime text. You can get that off the just off the internet. You can do a download. There's other tools you can use that are built into your computer. So I'm on a Mac. I have TextEdit. If you're on a Windows, you probably have Notepad. You can download Notepad++. So there's a lot of different tools you can use to do this. I like Sublime, but you'll want to get a text editor. Things like Microsoft Word are not very good because they might edit the text and kind of mess up some of the formatting in these files. So you'll just want a plain old text editor, which you can find online or probably built into your computer. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing we're going to need to do is get the kind of styling of some of the way the cards are saved in Cardsphere. So in order to do that, what I like to do is have 2 cards from Capenna in my halves. So I'm going to start with Life Insurance. That's a card from the commander decks. That was pretty cool. So you want to find the one that's Streets of New Capenna Commander, right? None of these extended arts or anything like that, just the regular commander deck, and add that as a half. And then use another one from the normal Capenna set itself. So I'm going to use everyone's favorite, Bootleggers Stash. There we go. Oops, Bootleggers. There we go. Streets of New Capenna, and I'll add it to my half. So I do not have these cards. I'm going to show you why we need those in a second. Then you're going to go to Filters, and then we'll want to find those cards in our halves and then filter those out. So first I'm going to just type in Bootleggers, and that should make it so that the only card that comes up is Bootlegger Stash. And then I'm going to go to Actions and export this list. And I want to make sure to do Export Halves Made Visible by Filter. So I'm only going to export this Bootlegger Stash. Then I'm going to go back to my filters and do the same thing with the other card, which was Life Insurance. So Life Insurance, Filter, and that's the only one that comes up. Again, I'm going to go back to Actions, Export, and Export Halves Made Visible by Filter. Great. So those downloaded. I'm going to go to my downloads folder. I'll show you what I got. So basically I have now 2 files down here in my downloads. One is with the card that's Bootlegger Stash, and it's Streets of New Capenna. And then the other one is the one that's Life Insurance and Streets of New Capenna Commander. And basically this string, this little phrase right here, Streets of New Capenna, is what we're going to need out of this file. So we don't need these files right now. I'm just kind of showing you what it looks like when they're downloaded, and we'll go back to that in a second. Then we'll want to go over to moxfield. So once you're at moxfield, you can go up here to this Explore tab towards the top left and click on Commander Precons. So this brings up all of the Wizards of the Coast, official Commander Precons. And then we can search the deck. So in this case, I'm looking for the Capenna decks. So I'm going to type in Capenna, press enter, and this brings up all 5 of the Streets of New Capenna commander decks. I'll go through these one by one. So first, obscure operation, click on that one, click on more, and do add to collection. And then just say that they're all paper, they're all near mint because we just bought the decks, add to collection. And then we'll go back and basically do this for all of these decks. Add to collection, go back, Riveteer's Rampage, and this is basically going to take all of the cards in the Streets of New Capenna commander decks and add these to your collection. So you'll have 500 cards in that collection. One more, add to collection, and there we have it. So now we can go to our collection, which click here, and you'll see all 500 cards that we just added into this collection. Now, the only thing we have to be careful of here is if you already are a common user of Moxfield and you put a lot of cards in this already, like you don't want those other cards in this collection. So you might either have to make a new account so you can use that for this or clear out your collection before. But again, this is your collection, so it shows all the cards that you have. You just want to have these Capenna cards that you want to transfer into Cardsphere on this list right now. If you have other cards, they're going to get tied in, and then you're going to end up importing more cards to Cardsphere. So with that said, as long as the only cards you see here are these new Capenna Commander and Streets of New Capenna cards, then you can just go ahead and export right here. All right, so once those are downloaded, we'll go ahead and open them all up in Sublime. I'm going to open first the Moxfield list that we just downloaded, which contains all 500 cards in the 5 Commander precons that we just downloaded, and then both of the files that we downloaded at the beginning of the video from Cardsphere. So here's one of them, and then I'll open the second one. Just for reference, you might find if you're on a different operating system, or maybe you just installed one of these text editors, that when you double click on these files, they open up in Microsoft Word or Microsoft Excel. What you can do to get around that is just open them up in your downloads folder, and then do right click, open with, and then in my case, Sublime Text, but again, you can use TextEdit, Notepad++, any of these other file editors to just edit the text. And then we're gonna put them all in the same window just to make it easier to find. And then we can go ahead and adjust some of these files. So the thing that we're trying to adjust is that Moxfield, you'll see, saves the name of the set as these abbreviations, either SNC for Streets of New Capenna or NCC for New Capenna Commander. Whereas Cardsphere will save the entire name of the set. And the problem is then if you take this list from Moxfield and upload it to Cardsphere, it won't recognize any of the names of these sets. It won't recognize these abbreviations. So we have to manually fix this. So I'm going to take this Streets of New Capenna Commander. So this is going to be NCC for New Capenna Commander. So I'm going to do a find and replace. So I'm going to find New Capenna Commander, NCC, and then replace it with Streets of New Capenna Commander. So do a quick replace, 342 occurrences in one file, replace, and you'll see all of a sudden these all change to New Capenna Commander. So I'm going to go ahead and save this file. We like those changes, that looks good. And then I'm going to go to the other Cardsphere halves, and then I'm going to do the regular Streets of New Capenna. So these are the cards from the standard main New Capenna set that were also just happened to be in the precon also. So then I'm going to look for SNC. So this is the Streets of New Capenna Commander deck, or sorry, Streets of New Capenna standard set, and replace that with Streets of New Capenna. Replace. There's 22, and voila, they have all changed, and we have a nice updated list. And then all your cards are ready to go and ready to be uploaded. So you have the full list of all the cards and all the commander decks, and we're just going to take this file and upload it to Cardsphere. I'm going to just make this a little easier to find for myself. I'm going to go into my downloads folder, and here's this Moxfield file. I'm going to save it as upload to Cardsphere CS, and I'm going to just put it on my desktop so it's even easier to find, and we're all set. Now I'm going to go over here to Cardsphere, and I'm on my halves. I'm going to go to this action tab, so you can just click on halves and then go to actions, import, and I can choose CSV file. I'll go to my desktop, and I have this nice upload to CS, I'll click open. These are some other settings you can choose in this. So if Cardsphere can't find the condition of the card or the finish of the card, what should it do about that? We should not need to use that. These files should match, so there's no problem importing, but we'll go ahead and click import. This will take a few seconds, so maybe up to about a minute or so, so don't get too impatient. This will take a while, but overall, once this is done, you're gonna have all of your cards imported. And let's see, there we go. So status, from 364 entries, 359 unique cards were added, 419 total. So bang, in just like 10 seconds, we were able to upload 419 cards. It says 5 entries could not be matched. I'll figure out what that is. It's probably the lands, if I had to guess. The lands are always a little weird. Yep, and that's exactly what it is. Forest, island, mountain, plains, and swamp. So I think Cardsphere doesn't support the commander deck lands, and that's not a big deal. I mean, lands are like a penny or two. You're probably not going to sell those too easily anyway, so I'd never worry about that. But other than that, now if I go back to my halves, I can reset my filters, and if I look at Streets of New Capenna, you'll see I have hundreds of cards, or sorry, only about 20 of those. But then if I do Streets of New Capenna Commander, if I can find that in the filter, and I click on filter, I'll have like hundreds of cards. So very easy way to do this, and you'll have all your cards uploaded in no time. So I hope all of you found that useful. For those of you who use Cardsphere, hopefully this can save you a lot of time uploading your cards and your different commander decks up to Cardsphere and sell off those cards that you don't need. Let me know in the comments down below how you use your commander decks. So if you're like me, if you only take a few of the cards and you try to sell them, or if you try to use the whole commander deck. And let me know also what websites are your favorites to sell your extra spare singles. Anyway, if you like what you saw, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and check back soon for plenty of other content on vintage and modern Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh! Magic the Gathering, and hope to see you next time.